This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation is brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service. We're with head coach Dan Anderson, and guys got back on the field last Friday night. Ended up with a 44-26 win over Cascade. What got it done for you, Coach?
You know, I thought it was just a complete team effort by our offense and our defense and our special teams. Cascade's a really good football team. They've, their losses have come to teams that are ranked, and so they've got a really powerful offense. They can throw the ball, they can run the ball. They had, a 1,600-yard rusher from last year, and I thought our defense did a really nice job keeping him in check. I think halfway through the fourth quarter, he only had 60 yards rushing on 17 carries. He did bust one in the fourth quarter for 50 yards for a touchdown, but otherwise we kept him in check. Our offense really got on a roll in the second half, and never looked back. They didn't have any answers for McShane and Decker and McGill.
And it was a 12-12 game at halftime. You outscored them 12-0 in the third quarter, and then 20-14 in the fourth quarter. What was the message to your team at halftime, knowing the fact that you knew you were going to be in a ball game from the get-go, and you had a ball game at halftime?
Yeah, a big part of it was just staying on our blocks longer. I think everybody knew who they were supposed to block, but in the first half, we'd have a couple big chunk plays, and then they'd have a tackle for loss, and that you can't have that. We were showing the guys on the iPad where we had 10 guys blocked, but one guy would go out and block his guy and slide off, and that guy made the play. And so we cleaned that stuff up in the second half. Our kids just played with a lot more energy. I think having that week off, when Postville had the forfeit, I think we started a little slow. And, I guess that's understandable. It took a little while to get going, get back up to game speed, especially against a good opponent like the Cascade. In the second half, we really got things rolling. And offensively, we were a juggernaut. It was, those guys we were getting, averaging 10, 12 yards a carry.
It was week number 7 of the season, but it was week number 1 for Carter Decker last week. 10 carries, 99 yards, a score, 1 catch for 36 yards, 4 tackles, 2 solos on defense. He's kind of picking up where he left off based on those statistics. Fair to say.
Yeah. It was great to have him back just for morale, if anything. I mean, the kids, he's a big part of our football team. Even when he was injured, he was there every night working, paying attention, which was important because when you miss those first 6 weeks of the season, sometimes you come in and you're, scrambling, getting lined up correctly and knowing your assignment on all the plays. And he never missed a beat. He showed his maturity by always paying attention in practice. And then, when you have Decker out there, that really keeps a lot of eyes on him. And that really opened things more up for Gabe and Cullen. And, Cullen had a big game, and he even understands one of the big reasons he had such a big game is because we've got Decker back. And when you've got Decker back, that's another, dangerous weapon that teams have to account for. And that's what I think makes us so dangerous is we've got so many different guys that we can get the ball to. I think McShane had 13 carries. I think Gabe had 11 and Decker had 10. And so when you can spread the ball out that evenly between 3 guys that are all state football players, that puts a lot of stress on defense.
And I know a lot of times we talk about balance, at least Stopes in the media talk about balance between rushing and passing. Oftentimes it's establishing multiple threats, whether that be on the ground or through the air, correct?
Right. You don't have to throw the ball a lot. I mean, balance wise to be multi-dimensional because we don't hand the ball off to one guy. You can't key on one guy. And we can still throw the ball. I mean, we're averaging, I don't know what our average is per pass completion, but it's pretty high. It's probably over 20 yards per completion. And so when you do that, and even an incomplete pass sometimes is as good as a completed pass. When you're throwing a deep ball, it makes those DBs back up. And I think Carver did a nice job throwing the ball. I mean, the first 2 plays of the game were passes for us. And the first one was to Decker for 36 yards. And when you do that right off the bat, that really makes teams, take a step back, and DBs can't be coming up hard to play the run. And, we didn't throw the ball quite as much in the second half because Carver, our quarterback, rolled his ankle and he didn't play in the second half, but, he'll be all right. But we had Caden Stocker stepped in and played quarterback in the second half, and we didn't want to make him throw the ball too much because he hadn't had as many reps. And he just handed the ball off to Gabe and Cullen and Decker, and those guys just did an awesome job just pounding the ball at him, and we didn't have to throw.
You opened the door for a tongue-in-cheek question. You threw the ball on the first 2 plays. Were you feeling well last Friday night?
I was, yeah. And Coach Pomerantz, we we want teams in the future to see that we can throw the ball. I mean, it's not what we do a lot, but it's not that we do it. We don't do it a lot, but we can complete those passes. And when we do, they're for big chunks. And we're not dinking and dunking 5-7 yard passes. We're play action. We're hitting 30, 20, 30, 40 yard passes downfield, and we've got guys that can catch the ball and we got quarterbacks that can throw the ball. It's just, we know our identity, and that's to pound the football. But if you want to bring 10, 11 guys up and try to stop the run, we don't have any problem throwing it over your head.
You got your first kick return score last week. I know that's been a big part of your repertoire in years past. Cullen took it back at 90 yards for a score. What made that happen?
Just good blocking up front. We do a lot of a lot of people say that, and I know Decor has always taken pride in their special teams and have played great special teams. We like to believe that too. I mean, we spend a lot of time on special teams during the week. And, our blocking, we don't have to have big, devastating blocks on our kick return team. We just have to have guys out there that get out there and get a good angle on, they know who they're blocking, get an angle on that guy, and then they keep running their feet and maintaining contact. And we've got two, all-state guys, Decker and McShane, back there to return kicks. Now, they actually kicked that ball out of bounds. They didn't want to kick it back deep to our McShane or Decker there. And instead of taking the ball at the 35, we said, make him kick again, penalize him 5 yards, make him kick it again. And I always want our guys to have a chance back there. Anytime they kick the ball deep to our returners, we have a chance to bring it back for a touchdown. I trust our guys. I trust our kick return team, and our guys take pride in that. Those guys that are out there blocking, they're not the ones returning it, but they take pride in their blocks. And it showed on Friday night. I don't think Cullen was touched on that return.
And this week, it's a district championship game. You guys head down to Dyersville to take on the Blazers of Beckman. What are they going to bring to the table Friday night?
Hey, they're a heck of a football team. They're 7-0. They're ranked 5th in the state in one poll, maybe 4 in another. They're senior dominated. They've got 15 seniors on their team, and usually, that makes a team if you've got a bunch of good seniors, and they do. They're big. They're 6'4" to 6'4" nose guard. They're 240 to 280 for all their linemen. They've got a running back that leads the district with 1,055 yards. And I think he's got 15 touchdowns, Owen Hewengarth. And so, they've got the guys they need. He's a battering ram. He's a bowling ball with legs. He's 5'9", 205, and he runs with every 205 pounds of his body. He is a hard runner. They've got, their linebackers are thick. They've got a quarterback that's dual threat. He's got 9 touchdown passes and 7 rushing on the year. And so if you spend too much time, watching the Hewengarth, their running back, the quarterback will pull it and run it. So they're dangerous overall. They're averaging 41 points a game, but we're averaging 35, and we're excited about the opportunity. I mean, we have a good game plan for these guys, and our kids are going to go down there, and we expect to win this football game and win a district title.
All right. Hopefully you can do it in exactly that. Keep your kids healthy. We wish best of luck Friday night, and go find that championship trophy and bring it home.
That's the plan. Thanks, Darren.
Dan Anderson, head coach of the MFL Marmac Bulldogs, playing for a district title Friday night at Dyersville Beckman.